I got shot.
It was life and death.
Somebody's killed your son.
I think both sides have to come together.
When it comes to African-American men, we only get the mug shot.
You know, it's abnormal.
Was it really worth it?
You gotta be the tough guy.
Tim Jackson presents How to Kill a Black Man, available on Amazon Prime Direct. This is the No More OGs podcast. From controversial topics to creating financial freedom, we will talk to real people about real situations, providing real solutions. No celebrity endorsements, bringing you unfiltered discussions, dope interviews, and giving you the blueprint to create the culture that you will be proud of. So kick back, turn up the volume, and let's get to it. Here's your host, yours truly, Mr. Purpose on Demand, Mr. Retired at 37, Mr. Tim Jackson. What's going on? It's your man, Tim Jackson. This is the No More OGs podcast. I'm your host. I'm so glad you're tuning in today. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe anywhere we are, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you can find us. And also be sure to go rent or buy the movie Tim Jackson Presents How to Kill a Black Man. I have an amazing guest today. He's actually featured in the film. This gentleman has dedicated his life to just educating kids, specifically black kids, about who they are, their identity, knowing their power, knowing their worth, improving their self-esteem. He's committed himself to, just being a part of the lives of kids, specifically in at-risk communities or in underprivileged areas, to present them with something other than what they always see. Because what happens is we follow the patterns, we follow the cycles. And if you always see something, you'll always become something. And typically become that. But when you start inserting different perspectives and different viewpoints, a child is able to pick up something different, like, oh, wait a minute, I can be this, I can be that. And that's what he's literally dedicated his life to. So without further ado, I want to present to some, introduce to others, my brother, Mr. Louie T. McClain II. What's going on, man?
What's good, brother? So glad to be on this show. No more OGs.
Hey, man, it ain't no more OGs left out there. Man, I'm so glad you could be here. So, a lot of people don't know, but if they should know, but I have you in the documentary. You actually close out the documentary with the last interview and the last word. But you talk about, the importance of, education and how education can impact certain communities, certain ways, and specifically, what you can tell about black kids by a certain age in education. So, man, when I ask people, how do you kill a black man? I brought you in to talk about it from the education standpoint. So, chime in, like how do you kill a black man in the education system?
Well, you got to watch the documentary and see how it closed, because it was very powerful. And I really appreciate you for giving me that opportunity, Tim. But education is very important. And for some reason, it seems to be taken for granted. Oftentimes when it comes to our community. When you look at the statistics for African-American achievement, across the line throughout the nation, it seems to be low when it comes to African-Americans. And why is that? You see that the school-to-prison pipeline, if a student is not able to read at grade level by the third grade, well, then they become a candidate, high probability to enter into this system called the school-to-prison pipeline. And so this is very important that we grasp the attention of our young children. We grasp the interest, right, and get them to understand who they are and make education a fun thing. Like, show them individuals who look like me and look like yourself, and people who look like Booker T. Washington, Ida B. Wells, modern day and historical pioneers that did great things, because culturally responsive pedagogy, which is teaching that is relevant to an individual's culture, that has been proven to increase academic achievement. And as I say in the documentary, the school system neglects that. They don't even try to insert that into their model for enhancing the lives of our young people. So, of course, it's very important.
Man, I hear everything you're saying, man, and it all sounds good, but man, I don't think that a lot of people care to be better. Like, I'm gonna play devil's advocate and be a little bit cynical here. Like one thing I've noticed that since I made it my life's purpose to just help place my people in better positions economically, financially, from a purpose standpoint. And what I realize is that, like, 99% of the people don't care about what we talking about. And I'm not even I'm talking about black folks. Like, they don't care. They don't care about what people call that woke stuff, and it's like, I feel like sometimes I'm like literally watching this movie. I know how it's going to end. It's going to end with, a whole bunch of a whole bunch of casualties, and you screaming at me. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, like, why can't y'all see this? And then it's like, I feel like I'm going crazy because there's the gap between black people and everyone else in every statistical category is so far extreme. Like, and we control our lives to where we can change it. But it's like we have no desire to do it collectively. Like, what do you think about that, man? Am I reaching? Because I know, because when you do this type of work, everybody ain't really fooling with you like that, man.
Oh,
like,
man.
You especially in Texas, you be competing with sports. Like, we compete with football on the weekends and basketball. Like, should I take my kid to this financial expo or should I take him to, 7-on-7? Well, 7-on-7 it is.
Man, let me put a selfish plug in here because, yes, I am Louie T. McClain II, the founder and CEO of Melanin Origins, right? But thanks to being a part of your documentary, I now am the meditative coach. The meditative coach is an empowerment coach who also has a mindset philosophy. You see, usually whenever I have something to say, I'm one of the smallest voices in the room, but I say, you know what, let me create a mindset philosophy based on psychology and universal principles, right? So now whenever I say something, it resorts back to that. So you made an interesting statement just a while ago. You said that we do what we're shown. Our kids do what we are shown. And so that now turns into an adult who is cynical, who doesn't care about what we're supposed to be doing. Why is that? Because we've been programmed. One of the tenets to my mindset philosophy is intentional preparation, and we must intentionally prepare ourselves, right, through the audio that we consume and through the visuals that we consume, because programming ourselves is very important. The unfortunate thing is that we've been purposefully programmed to be about the foolishness. We've been purposefully, just like you said, we're championing great causes, education, lifestyle, transformational stuff. You're a real estate guru championing economic empowerment. That's the one thing that's going to change like the trajectory of our neighborhoods, right? Get us out of poverty, right? That in education, but we're competing with images that say we should be thugs. we're competing with, anytime we're vocal about wanting to live a dignified life, we're getting shot down in the streets. So we're competing with all of this. And again, as a meditative coach, those are also internal blocks and programming. So we have to remove that fear, remove that grief, that guilt, that shame. And a lot of our community members are they're at the receiving end of a very, very bad stick.
Unfortunately, the only way to really remove all that is to move away, like to get away from your environment so that you can see what you didn't see. Like, I had a good fortune of being able to like leave when I was 17 years old. I had to join the military, not because things in my life are going great, because nobody joins the military when things in their life is going great. Shout out to the veterans. Happy Veterans Day. Go get your free meals today too. I'm about to go get me some. But I was put in a position where I was able to, one, travel a lot, and then two, be around people who weren't from where I was from. Like, they were just like me, but they were from different areas. And what I got to see was that, one, everybody typically has the same struggles, but two, people do the exact same thing because that's all they see. Mm-hmm. So until I get a chance to go somewhere else and see something else, then I can bring something back or create something new based on a different way that you do some things, right? Like, even we know how it looks in fashion. Like, if I go, I'm from the South, so we used to starch our pants, right? Crease our pants. So when I would go to the club when I was in the military, I knew who was from the South or who was from Texas specifically because they had on crease pants and polo boots. Now, to everybody else in the club, we were corny. We were some Bamas, man. We were these country dudes, you know what I'm saying? But they knew just by looking at what I had on who I was and what I was about. Well, why can't we translate that to positive stuff? Why can't we translate that to, I see these dudes walking in the room, I know they're about business, not about that bull. And it's tough, man, because you have to compete against people's desires because consumption, like, I can't get mad at a rapper or an actor or an influencer for doing something if people consume it.
Man, the programming is real. And I would say the brainwashing, it always goes back to the individual. At some point, we have to come to where we're self-actualized, where we understand, okay, this is who I am. This is the desires that I want in life, and this is how I have to actually sacrifice these things to move towards it. However, the programming is real, man. Working in the juvenile justice system, man, my goal was to change the life of one individual and have that person come back and say, hey, this is what you did. Man, you know how many people I met and how many people actually came back into the facility and then went to prison? I mean, it's tough because the programming is real. You know what I mean? We're taught that it's tough.
It wasn't
it's,
a lot
it's
of
uphill battle, bro.
It wasn't a lot of change, huh?
No.
And it's like, you know, I think a lot of black people specifically who trying to improve the lives of their own, they hit this same hurdle because it's like, you know, you come into knowledge or you come into, you know, an awakening or whatever you want to call it. And then you realize like, whoa, something ain't right here. Like, y'all don't see this,
right?
You know,
right.
So there's the hurdle of getting people to see it. Then there's the hurdle of balancing how you present it, because if you had an opportunity to leave, whether it's going to military, college, wherever, and then you come back, well, you have to be really, really fragile with people because there's already a perception about you, you know what I'm saying, because you left, right, that you can't control, but you have to manage it, right? So you have to manage it with them. Then you have to manage it with this new set of people that you done gained access to. Yeah. So you're battling, okay, I have to fight all these different stereotypes. Plus, I'm trying to show people how to do right. And then the average person, no matter the color, they don't want to do right. The average person wants to appeal to their own desires, which is what human nature is all about. But you sit back and you see how much people are suffering. Like, man, y'all don't see this? Like, can we just not kick it for just a year? Man. You know, can we just not you know, be ratchet for just a year, just a year, like stack our bread, get some real estate. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say to that, man, is, you know, what you focus on grows. So, again, I keep bringing up programming, and it's as if I'm blaming an exterior party, but we always have to be responsible for ourselves. What we focus on grows. Yes, we look outside, we might see detrimental effects in our hood or where we live. We look on the radio, we turn on the radio, we look on TV, we're watching Power, Snowfall, BMF, and it's just saying, oh, this is how black people conduct themselves. This is how I'm going to fall in line. You know, instead of saying, you know, let's not do this, let's not do that. Well, you're focused on what you're not doing. You're still looking at a bad picture. You want to focus on what you want to do. You want to actually create actual goals and then lock in, like do whatever it takes to be locked into that. And that's one thing about my coaching business is that people are going to be successful whenever they move towards their heart's desire. Because as they start moving towards it, then they're going to start reaping some of the benefits. And if they're honest with themselves, reaping those small benefits actually makes you feel good along the way. It boosts your confidence level. And then you continue. It's like you're walking along with God. It's going to be a one-on-one. It's you in the mirror and God helping you. And you focusing on that and moving towards that. We fail because we're looking at everybody else, and it's the keeping up with the Joneses. Like, we might not see it that way, but it's keeping up with the Joneses because we're looking on social media, and we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to be like this rapper, we want to be like this celebrity, but we will be successful once we take an individual approach and then respect the collective approach of like-minded individuals moving towards similar goals.
That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. So we talked about, let's talk about the documentary for a moment, How to Kill a Black Man. You know, that's the whole purpose of this episode. Like, you know, we've gotten some great feedback on it, getting ready to take it a little higher, you know, do a lot more marketing and put in some more areas for people to watch. But, like, why do you feel like a documentary like that is so necessary right now?
It's so important, brother. I mean, my children's book company was created because of the killing of black men. Okay, I have 2 black children, and my in 2012, whenever Trayvon Martin was murdered in the street, I mean, that changed it. Here I am wearing a hoodie, speaking these intellectual, like championing the highest principles. Who are we to say that Trayvon Martin could not have moved into that direction, or that he had some of that knowledge himself? He just went to go get Skittles. Right. So the killing of black men sparked that really got me in my direction to create impactful businesses. But the conversation is very important. My approach that I wanted to take was have a more abstract effect. Right. So as I started off, prepare him for death through mere suggestion. Merely suggest to him that his people are cursed and that his origin began in slavery, and watch him begin to devalue the nature of his being in ways unimaginable and claim, this is who I am. This is who I was made to be. You see, through mere suggestion. How could you say that? How could you be so facetious and say, hey, man, the black man gonna kill him? Hey, look, hey, your people are cursed. Through mere suggestion. What am I saying there? That goes back to the programming. Man, in religious institutions, there are schools of thought that say that black people are the cursed people. That there are Christian denominations and religions outside of Christianity that hold to that. And people and non-black people hold on to that. And they teach people in their geographic location, and there's some black people there, and we believe that subconsciously around the globe. All right. In the education system, when our children are introduced to their leaders, they're introduced to their leaders as slaves. When black children start learning about black people, they learn that we are slaves. Whenever we have black history children's books, we see slavery all across the cover. We see a person in the cotton field with struggle all on their face. Like, what is that? That's automatically introducing an inferiority complex into the black child. So now, again, it starts all the way down there. We talked about the school to prison pipeline. The child is now not even interested. You're not even teaching me in a way that's interesting to me. You're not showing me people that's done great things like that look like me. I don't feel that my capabilities are great. I look outside, I'm in the hood. I see what people are doing. I see them downplaying school and say, hey, look, get money, right? So this is through mere suggestion, teaching an individual to understand the greatness that lies within them, that they are made in the image of God, and that alone, I mean, there's a law of attraction, there's prayer, that life is abundant, and that we truly can have what we desire. But like I said, it's a one-on-one thing. What we focus on grows. God blesses us as we continue to do God's work. And God's work is to see you prosper, man. You want to do God's work. You want to help your brother out because God says, I'll bless you, so you will be a blessing. So we've been hit with the okie doke all around, and it's kill, as I said. Therefore, what they say, black death is astronomically high in America due to all that.
So, you know, when you have these conversations, people tend to go one way or the other, right? Whenever there's a conversation about accountability within the black community, you're either going to blame the system that does exist. We're not downplaying that. There is definitely a system put in place to disenfranchise black people. Or you're going to embrace the system. Like, you're going to be like, hey, you know, things can be worse, right? So now it's like you a coon if you don't believe this, or you're too radical if you don't believe that. And that in itself, like, creates so much division that most people just don't even want to touch any issues. And it's like, guys, statistically, like, specifically with black boys, like, we are losing in every statistical category. Black men, you know, anything that's education, economics, like, we are literally dwindling away from the corporate workspace. We're dwindling away from, you know, like, labor type jobs. Like we're literally just kind of like disappearing right now, and no one is focused. Everybody's focused on shining and looking a certain way, but no one's really focused on, like, hey, y'all, this is like, we're literally going to be extinct financially in the next 30 years if we don't, you know, start putting, you know, stopping the bleeding right now. When I go to places, like if I go to a barbershop, or if I get around a lot of brothers, you know, black men, like, man, we can talk for hours about LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. We could talk for hours about who had the best college team, like what's going on with the Cowboys, like knowing people's stats, like literally knowing how many touchdowns, interceptions, like we know that stuff like the back of our hands. But then it's like, well, hey, man, let's talk about like credit. Like, what's your credit score? Or, hey, man, you know, what type of investments do you have? Or, hey, man, you doing this? And it's like crickets. Like, nobody wants to talk about that because no one's invested. And I live by a golf course, and so I have to cut through the golf course every morning to take my son to school. And yesterday morning, man, it was like 50 degrees and raining. and there was like a caravan of like 30 golf carts like going out to the golf course. I'm like, what do these people do that on a Friday morning in the rain, they are in golf carts getting ready to play golf? Like what are they talking about on this golf course? You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't get my people to show up to an economic seminar or like a free credit seminar on a Friday morning. Come on. You know, or a Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning in the rain. Like that's like I will be losing my mind if I thought I could do that, right? So why is it that we gravitate towards the complacency? Like, is it just that we're defeated? Is it just that we don't believe anything's gonna happen? Like, I mean, what you say?
Man, this is what I could say, and it goes back to the foundation of my coaching business. In my coaching business, we have the mindset philosophy that's going to sustain you along your path. We have the fundamental business strategies, of course, that helps you directly get towards that goal, right? So sustaining as you're going towards your goal. But what I see, that's what the unique part that I added to this business is the removing of internal blocks. Like, we got to get that removed, all right? Fear, grief, guilt, shame, lies that we tell ourselves, lies that we've seen from the outside, and earthly attachment. We have to remove all those internal blocks because that is stunting our growth and causing us not to take action on the things that we actually need to take action on. So because I'm ashamed of my credit, right? Because I know that I have a problem in this area or that area, well, then I'm going to run away from it naturally. Like, naturally, I'm going to run away from it. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to downplay it. I'm going to gravitate to things that I feel that I'm talented in because I can discuss these stats because I love to watch basketball so much. However, it's not doing one good thing for my life. Like, I'm not capitalizing on this in a way to where it's truly beneficial to myself, my family, and my neighborhood. We're actually, again, it goes back to us being bamboozled. I mean, we are just paying attention to all of the wrong things. Paying attention to all of the wrong things. What matters is lifting ourselves out of our economic condition and helping our brother man who's directly right next to us and congregating with individuals who are like-minded so that we can actually do those things. Man, the only thing that I could say, because let's
talk about that for a second, because I know you said congregating with individuals who are like-minded. Yeah. So I would say during the time when we had the shutdown, I stopped working. Like I retired from real estate. I was like, I'm good. And actually, the real estate market picked up. I sold a lot of houses, believe it or not, but I kind of took a step back. And I said, I want to figure out what I want to do. And what I realized during that time, over the past 10 years, my issue was I was trying to convince the wrong people to do the right thing. You know, trying to convert people into believers versus finding people who think like me. Come on. And when I tell y'all, like, that's been the life hack, like, you don't have to convince your target audience. Your target audience is going to come find you. Even if it's 4 or 5 people, they're going to find you because they're tired of being tired. And so they're going to figure out specifically, what do I need to do to change from what I'm doing, because this ain't it. And what happens is when a person ain't felt that yet, there's no urgency. There's no desire to hear you out because that ain't their problem. Like, that's not they issue.
Man, remember that I said this superpowers. Okay, but now let's dive into it. So me and you are on the same page with that, because even it's Q4 now, moving into 2024. I'm working on solidifying how the year is going to go, and the year is about family, marketing, and intentional fun. And that's intentional fun with like-minded individuals, right? Because I've been spending a lot of time gravitating towards groups, organizations, and individuals who I'm doing too much. But when it comes to the business side of things, okay, so I agree with you, but then I also listen to people like Tony Robbins, right? And listen to people like Tony Robbins, then you can really get some insight into the personal development world, of course, from, a white experience, right? A non-black experience, which, let's not make it a racist thing, right? But you can see into their mindset and their mind frame. And what happens is, like, when you start talking about credit, when you start talking about real estate or any high ticket thing, right? They're always going to gravitate towards people who want to gain more money, make these sales, right? And then do this work. And the work, might cause gentrification. It might cause detrimental results. It might cause someone, to be in a bad loan situation. But they're finding they're finding sharks to go ahead and do shark work. Now, when it comes to actually making a difference, first, before I even say this piece, I want to say, man, I appreciate everything that you have been doing consistently throughout the years, brother. I've been seeing you since we met, man. You've been consistently mentoring these young men and standing in the gap and working to help change their life around and doing all that you can, right, to reach into their heart, to get them to see it. And that is what it takes. That is what it takes. It takes us to continuously move towards that effect, even when we get the blank stare, even when it seems like it's not sinking in, even when it seems like all of our work is taken for granted. That is the work, right? That is the work. And we must use our superpowers to induce that work. When I think about our superpowers is our emotions. Let's just say that. All right. It's our personality. It's our character. It's our charisma. It's how we carry it. Emotions is energy in motion. So it's energy that I'm carrying and how I use it. It's my superpower to communicate the way how I am and hopefully affect the people who's reaching, who's listening. And that's exactly what you're doing and our job whenever we're out here in the world. Unfortunately, we do come across the people who just don't get it, who just aren't interested.
Well, it's not for everybody. And that's where I am right now. Like, the people who watch this podcast, the people that subscribe to what we talk about, like, we just think differently. Like, we understand, like, it's time to be urgent. We understand that it's time to, like, really take care of business. You don't have to put your head down, shut your mouth, and just kind of get to work because, the opportunities are still out there, but no one's really working to get it. Like, everybody wants stuff to just appear out of the sky. Nobody really values, just that hard work, consistency. And literally the only thing that's separating you from the next person is, your routine and how consistent you are. Like, that's really it.
Discipline.
Yep. If you don't have a routine and you're not consistent, then you're not going to have success. And that's one thing I had to tell myself, like, sitting back, like, man, this page grew super fast, like, because people really, really want this content. Yeah. And I took a step back. Now I had some personal things going on in my family. My mother's been a little sick, so we've been taking care of her. But I said, you know what, I still need to create this content because there's an audience of people who generally don't subscribe to what we call culture, and they generally want to create something that they can be proud of. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's okay to criticize and hold accountable those who misrepresent you. 100%. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like, right now there's some stuff going on. What's the rapper?
I'm about to say D1. Shout out to D1. Let's go, baby. Shout out to D1. You doing that?
Yeah. So let's talk about that because I know he's coming at first things first. Anyone who looks, I ain't gonna say that. This ain't. I'm not gonna punch nobody while they down.
What's up?
First things first. Entertainers shouldn't be the barometer and the standard and the foundation of how you live your life. So. Yeah. I would never take life advice from Meek Mill. I just wouldn't. Like, it's, and nothing against Meek Mill, but there's absolutely nothing that Meek Mill would tell me that I would probably be like, yeah, man, you know what? I feel that. Like, it just by looking at the way he presents himself, some of the things he's said behind the microphone, and like, he's just not my go-to guy, okay, when it comes to matters of morality and integrity. All right. I think I can say that without anybody feeling some kind of way.
Word.
With that being said, I feel like D1 is trolling a little bit because like Meek Mill is an easy target. You know what I'm saying? He's an easy target, man. He's the quintessential definition of a stereotype.
But he has to be challenged. Now, so let me say
why? This. Like, are Meek Mill listeners going to stop listening to Meek Mill?
So first off, definitely not against Meek Mill at all, but the system at large has to be challenged. He just happens to be a representative in the system at large.
Ah, I see where you went. A representative. Okay, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, he just happens to be a representative in the system at large. Listen, man, I wrote a book called Up From the Trap, and that's talking about, hey, look, Booker T. Washington said, hey, let's rise up from slavery. Well, we got to rise up from the trap. And I go on to define what the trap is, literal definition, and how technically the artists themselves are getting trapped into these contracts. Yeah, you're making money, but you're getting trapped into these contracts where you have to continue perpetuating these stereotypes and seeing your community go down the drain.
All right, let's pause for 1 second. If Meek Mill, and trust me, I'm not a fan of the perpetuation of the streets and the trap shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is, I grew up listening to it. You know what I'm saying? And there's still songs that I like. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna sit here and pretend like I'm righteous. If you watch my story enough, you'll see songs in there. But I ain't gonna even say but. Like, that's just it. But I also understand the psychological impacts that music can have on you. So I'll say this right here. Is it on Meek Mill? Like, if Meek Mill or Rick Ross were to make, let's just say, a Christian album today, and if they put out Christian music, you think that it would be consumed as much as the regular music?
Nope.
Nope, it wouldn't. Why not?
Not at all. Because of the individuals who control the distribution.
I knew you would say that. I knew you would say that. I knew you would go to the individuals. No, because of the consumption, bro. People like that ratchet shit.
See. I mean,
the distribution just give you the product.
What you're saying is, see, that's almost the argument that whenever I'm a Black History children's book publisher.
Yeah.
And when I get on my Instagram and I look at the search page, I'm seeing I'm seeing ratchet activity.
You don't like ratchet activity?
That's not what I'm searching.
But I'm saying, but do you like it?
Brother, are they in my mind? First off, I am a human being, and I love a gamut of things, but whenever I get online, I engage a certain kind of content. They are inundating us with other types of information. I swear, I promise you, bro, there's times whenever I'm on a business conversation and I said, let me go to my inbox to find this business question. And then by the time I turn on Instagram, I see all this ratchet stuff. I done forgot what I'm looking at because now I'm looking at this. So yeah, of course, I'm a human being, bro. I'm a human being. And then I consume all kind of things, right? But the algorithm and the distribution is out to program us towards detrimental ends, and these individuals are representatives. Let me say this. Let's go to D1.
Before you say that, I'm going to say I disagree.
Very interesting.
I say I disagree. I'm going to tell you why I disagree.
Yeah, I let her hear it.
Anybody watching this, if you've ever set up a new phone or you've ever set up a new YouTube account, as soon as you sign into that YouTube account, it's a bunch of videos that you would probably never watch, right?
Oh, yeah.
They base it off of stuff that the entire world is watching. The moment you type one video into that YouTube search, it's going to start dialing back. If this person likes this, then they'll like this, because the algorithm tells us to give them more of what they like, to keep them here. So, like, if you go through my algorithm on YouTube right now, I'm going to tell you exactly what you're going to see. Because it's about a 5-video setup. You're going to see something with like a sports podcast. You're going to see something with boxing. You're going to see something with like funny animal videos. I don't know what it is about them funny animal videos.
Oh, yeah, I love those videos.
Hold on real quick.
I do love those videos.
Hold on real quick. Man, it's gonna stop our recording. Hold on a second. Hold on real quick. So what's going on is it's recording right here. If somebody calls, like, I'm going to do not disturb. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to airplane mode. When a call
gets through on do not disturb.
I'm going to go to airplane mode. So I got to let it record for a little bit longer because I don't want it to, I got to see if it's going to stop. Okay, I should be good. What was I saying?
Animal videos are good.
Yeah, okay, so you got animal videos, then you going to have like lifting weights, because because I've been on a nutritional kick, and then you gonna have some ratchet, because I like ratchet stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like as detriment, and I be all in. But say, listen, I think I be doing God's work Because I be all in the comments like, that's so ratchet. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be ashamed of yourself. But I watch every single video because it's just what it is. Like, that's what I'm attracted to. Like, you know what I'm saying? So one day I was sitting up like, man, I'm the reason why these videos are going viral, because I'm commenting in the videos, then people going back and forth with me and it's keeping it going. But it's just like, my job is to critique ratchetness, because I understand the value of ratchetness. So I disagree with you from that standpoint, because if you reset your phone and clear all your cookies and delete your stuff and put it back up and start back over, it only takes you them 3 videos to determine what you like.
That's very interesting.
That's how the algorithm works. Like, just go pick up like your kid's phone or an older person's phone. Like like if you have a parent or an aunt or uncle, like pick up their phone and go look at you'll be like, damn, I didn't even know these videos existed. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom, they be my mom and aunt, they real heavy on the Nigerian movies, the Nollywood movies.
Yeah.
So when you turn on my mom's YouTube, it's like a gang of Nigerian Nollywood movies. My mom is straight from Oak Cliff, like never been to Africa. But I don't know why her and my aunt is on this stuff. But then you go through that, then it's like a church, because she watches church all day. Then you'll see something like a cartoon, because maybe my son, you know what I'm saying? Her algorithm's totally different than mine.
Man, I will say this, man. So I'm gonna agree with you, because I believe that in theory, of course, that is the way how it works and how it's supposed to work. But I would say that you have to know that there must be nefarious reasons in some of these, not on some conspiracy theory stuff, but there are individuals with nefarious reasons.
Absolutely.
And then what's to say, I'm not scrolling and then I see, George Floyd, or I'm scrolling or I see some inmates fighting. What's to say, I don't click on that and now I get inundated now. Oh yeah, you didn't open the window, and so now you can see all this stuff. But I promise you, as much children's books and empowerment content and personal development I seek, I'm still flooded with ratchet behavior.
You want to know why?
Because they can read my mind?
Because people don't, when you know how when you be scrolling through your reels or scrolling through YouTube, if a video pop up that you already know you ain't gonna want to see, you go past it. And then, or I'll put not interested. I'm petty. But like if you don't stay on that video longer than 2 seconds, they don't suggest videos like that. And so what happens is a person's going through ratchet mode. They go through and they watch a ratchet fight video or something like that. They watching some, people argue about Meek Mill and D1, right? And then Melanin Origins, book come up about their kids. They're on the phone escaping their kids right now. Like, man. So then they scan through, they slip through it, right? So then the more ratchet shit, then my ad will come up like, how to kill a black man. Do you want to save your son? They're like, man, fuck them kids, man. Like that's the reality of it. Like people don't really want to be entertained with positivity. People, and this is across the board, like culturally, like no matter who you are, where you from. Like I have friends from all different walks of life, and they watch the ratchet shit in their culture. It's just human nature, I guess.
We just have to be cognizant that what we focus on grows. Humans have a tendency to emulate what they hear and see often. We materialize what we visualize. So there may be times when we want to do things for entertainment purposes, but guess what? Sometimes we take that energy and we carry it back out into the world. I remember my house was coming up in the suburbs, had the biggest house on the block. We was like 8 people in the house, but I'm just saying that's how it was. Whenever Cash Money came out, I remember taking off my button-down shirts. I remember walking around the neighborhood with a wife beater and a bandana around my neck. I remember teaching myself how to curse, because now I'm trying to be like these people who seem so cool online. And that's all that D1 is saying, bro. He's saying that, man, you have... T.I. will be the first one to say, I'm just speaking on my neighborhood. I'm just speaking on the conditions of my environment. As a great artist, much respect to great artistry, right? But anyone can take a snapshot and say, this is what I see. That's what I see. But are you perpetuating this stereotype? Are you celebrating these detrimental behaviors? Are you doing the work and championing, speaking about the work? Because life and death are in the power of the tongue, and we try to act like that's not true to life. We're trying to act like we don't think and speak our reality into existence. We're trying to act like, I just said our superpowers. So now these guys are the greatest superpower, speaking to masses and multi-millions of black individuals who think that life actually is supposed to be carried out this kind of way. So yeah, this is who I am. I'm a real nigga. I'm a thug. Nah, respect is all that matters. I'm gonna come at your head on some weak stuff. Nah, that's not what's true to life. All right. So now, is D1 trolling? So what I would say to
he is, man, because like, he's trolling. Like,
let me agree with you.
He's trolling.
Let me agree with you. I'm gonna.
And I met D1. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? We both spoke at a conference, at the same conference. Like, I get what he's doing, man. But that you get, I don't know, man. It's just like, I did it. I've done what he's doing right now. I've called people out. Like, and what I came to the conclusion of is that the people that consume their content, it's just gonna grow because people are naturally attracted to shit. Yeah. You know, like I'm attracted to it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like but the difference between me and a lot of people is that now I can understand that it's just entertainment. But when I was between the ages of 18, 21, 22, you know, that was life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to keep it real with you. So I understand, like, a lot of black men between the ages of 18 and 35, they just, like, spiral because they subscribe to a culture that is designed to kill them. Yep. Like, you either going to get killed literally or you're going to get killed figuratively, whether it's through your pockets, through child support, you know, through shit like that, whether it's through like you going to prison, like you're going to get taken out the game if you subscribe. There's literally no retirement package for our culture. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I see that. I look at it from a satellite view versus a street view. Like I'm looking at it from, you know, like, man, like look at where this is going 10, 15, 20 years from now. And now you're seeing it, whereas it used to be the gangster rap that was attacking black men. Now you're seeing like the ratchet rap that attacked black girls. So now you're seeing how it's becoming like all the stuff we saw in the 90s with the black men just being super, super extra uptight, vulgar, like saying whatever came to mind, which is freedom of expression. I consumed it. You know, some of my favorite songs are some of those songs, you know. But as someone who's gotten a little bit more older, decades have passed, I understand when a person builds their foundation in this rooted aggression that has no possibility of relief, no possibility of change. It's just constant aggression. You know what I'm saying? With no movement, that's gonna lead you to one or two places. And so I was like, whoa. When you go to these people's concerts, black people, we're not even on the front rows. We're not even on the lower sections in many cases. We up in the stands or we back in the $100 seats. The front row is people that don't even look like us, and they see it as entertainment. Right. We see it as life. So our approach to it is different, and then it becomes what we have to become and represent. And in the blink of an eye, you represent something that ain't really got nothing to do with you, and you don't put yourself in a position where you're in prison. That's real. You know what I'm saying? And I see what D1 is doing. He's having a conversation. But you don't have to convince your target audience, man. Like, there's nothing you could say to Rick Ross or Meek Mill to get them to stop doing what they're doing, because it has been extremely profitable. And they have an audience of people who outnumber D1's audience by 10, 15, 20 in some cases. Not to shit on D1, I'm not, because I understand what he's doing and I respect it. But what I'm saying is that the consumption of what Rose and what what's his name is doing is a whole lot more than what's going on with D1. Should more people listen to what D1's talking about? Absolutely. He's not promoting violence, destruction, killing. He's not, like, that's exactly what our boys need to hear.
Man, let me say one thing about Rick Ross and one thing about D1.
Yeah.
All right. Rick Ross, there was a time, you know, they get paid to do all this stuff. Yeah. He came out of his mouth and said, hey, man, you know, retirement, man, if you don't have 10 million in your account, well, then 10 million ain't even nothing. Now, you just look at the statistics of the median household of an African-American, and you telling these folks 10 million, they might as well jump off a cliff, bro. So you ain't trying to help nothing with that situation. You're just continuously trying to perpetuate the foolishness because someone told you, hey, we need to get people on this trajectory of screwing them over financially again. Nah, man, you out of there. All right, so you out of line. in addition to the rap lyrics that they put out there, they continue with all that kind of stuff. And that's your lane. You're the credit lane. You're the real estate lane. And you telling somebody if you ain't got $10 million, you ain't shit. No, okay, you're out of line. You're out of control, right?
Did D1 address that?
No.
Okay.
He did the hip hop. Now, D1, only thing that I'll say to D1 is that when you step in these spaces, like we are men, we are black men, and it is tough. Bro, if you have a problem with me, you know, it's going to be tough for you to tell it to me in a way that does not offend me. But you have to come like extremely cautious, whether I'm smaller than you, whether I'm bigger than you, whether I got goons behind me, however it is, right? If you're a monk, if I'm a monk, it doesn't matter. You have to approach it a certain kind of way. Like Jim Jones is out there. I seen a video that Jim Jones put. He's pretty much, you know what I mean, like already saying what D1 should expect to happen, right? Which
is what?
Violence, because he said, hey, cause and effect. You said it. It's out there. You're going to have to see me. So cause and effect. So because cause and effect is true.
He said some of
Jim Jones said that about D1.
Let me frank with you guys. I don't really follow a lot of that stuff because, you know, I think it's corny. I mean, it's entertainment. And so I just don't take a lot of these guys serious. But so I'm sorry, but like, so I guess D1 said something to Jim Jones or about him? He's
pretty just like he's calling out the representatives in the industry.
So he called out Jim Jones.
I don't know what he said. I just happened to see that Jim Jones said this. D1 put it on his station. What I'm saying is that is what you receive. That truly is cause and
culture,
effect,
bro. That's the culture, and it's like that's the culture, you know. But when you get a person like a D1, or I'll call out even like a Charleston White, or I'll even say like a Sean Cotton, who gives people platforms to be opposition. It's good for likes and clicks, but then after the likes and clicks and the views, what next? That's all I'm saying, bro. Like, I'm not upset at D1. I ain't even mad or tripping at what he's doing. I think he's trolling clearly. But what's the end goal? And see, a lot of people don't really go to church and fool with religion because of that. I don't want to say the lack of accountability, but the condemnation. Like when a person becomes aware of something, they want to point the finger like, you going to hell if you don't do this right. Like nobody wants to be condemned, you know, give another person the time to catch up to where you're at. But D1, he may gain he's going to gain more than Meek Mill from this because he's going to gain an audience of people who are getting tired of the way the culture is. Right. And rightfully so. But all I would say is don't go back to being who you used to be. Because a lot of these guys, I always watch people from a distance, and it's just like, I never jump on the bandwagon with people because those people always seem to let you down. Like, you know, it's like the Kanye effect. You know, Kanye will say something amazing. You're like, oh, man, we love you, Kanye. Then he'll put his foot in his mouth. It's like, all right. Then he'll come back and say something amazing. It's like, oh, okay, we love you again, Kanye. Then he'll come back and just put his other foot in his mouth. I mean, it's just like, and all the stuff he's doing contradicts each other. And it's like, so by the third or fourth time, he says something that really, really, really makes sense. And we like, man, nobody's trying to hear that shit, Kanye. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that whenever I see a celebrity or whenever I see somebody like promoting a lifestyle of you need to be doing right, I always feel like eventually they go back to doing what got them where they are. Like, it's kind of like the activists, like any rapper activist. I've said names in the past. You can go back and listen to those episodes. But if you are a rapper and you're an activist fighting for police reform, gentrification, whatever you want to call it, but you still performing your old songs, I can't take you serious.
No, seriously, man.
I can't take you seriously. I just can't take you seriously. Like, man, we need to do better. We need to love each other and come together. And we need to. Then it's like, you know, name that song, whatever song you want to play, man. I don't want to. If I start singing a song, then people are like, oh, he talking shit about. No, it's just I just can't take it. I can't take a person seriously if they on that we shall overcome shit, but then they're singing about and promoting the exact opposite destruction of what they're overcoming. Right. I just can't say. So that's why when I see a Meek Mill talk about prison reform, I'm just like, all right, okay, figurehead. He's just the face of a. Like, I don't take that serious, like, you know, because I already know Meek Mill. that's not his platform. That's somebody else's platform, and he's just the face of it.
And see, but and that's also okay. So we're now talking about this D1 thing, but let's just keep it going as long as you want to. I'm just saying that that's a part of it, though. That's a part of it. So first you got the rap. Then you got what I said about Rick Ross talking about financial advice.
Yeah.
All right. Then you got Meek Mill doing prison reform. You got Kim Kardashian. Look, do we remember how she came out and everybody can change? Do we remember what she still stands for? Everybody can change. But we have these individuals being poised as our leaders.
That's my issue with it.
Exactly.
That's my issue.
That's why D1 matters.
That's
why he matters, bro.
I didn't say he didn't.
No, I know. I'm putting it out there for the world. No more OGs.
Cool dude. Like I met him before, man. I just we see this ever so often.
He's
right?
trolling.
We see this ever so often, and nothing ever changes. Nothing. The person that does the trolling gets more people on him, or she. But the person they troll, it never impact. We've named one time where a rapper, a Christian rapper, or activist has attacked somebody in the mainstream who represents the stereotypes, and they win. Like even when you think about Kwame Brown, when Kwame Brown came out during the shutdown, and he was just like, "I'm tired," and he was cussing everybody out. Everybody was like, "Yeah," everybody loved. Like for about a good 2 or 3 months, Kwame Brown was must-see TV.
Yeah,
because he was gossiping, he was chatty pattying and shit. We like shit like that. He was up there spilling the tea, But from the standpoint of a basketball perspective, calling out some of the people in the media like by name, like we hadn't seen nothing like that. So it was like, oh, okay. But then as time went on and the dust started settling, you start kind of seeing like, okay, what else do you got? Like, okay, you done called out everybody. You gave us a call to action. Now, specifically, what are we doing to create the change? Yeah. All right?
Yeah.
If you just getting on here to just shit on people and talk about them, then this is just, you ain't no different than them.
Yeah.
You see it with Charleston White. Charleston White did a great job at the beginning calling out people. Now, to Charleston White's credit, before he became who we know him as Charleston White, he would be on live talking about, prison reform and like stuff to help people in the community. It'd be 10 people watching. So then when he starts getting on live talking bad about people, then everyone tunes in because we like that shit, right? Mm-hmm. So, okay. So now what's next, D1? You called them out. What's next? Like, what's the end game? Like, is the end game to bring up more rappers like you, or are you going to then appropriate the same culture? Like, do you still want to look like these people? Do you still want to be around certain people? Do you still want to do you want to embody what they embody just without the cuss words and the degradation of women? Like, you can't, you gotta be careful with that shit. That's because it's like, I have to check myself with that shit because I'll be talking about culture and then I'll have some money bag, yo, in my story. I like the song "Me Versus Me,"
yeah.
But it talk about some nigga shit and that ratchet shit, and it's just like, okay, that's not what I'm trying to. I don't listen to that kind of music around my kids at all. My son didn't even know I listened to rap music until he was like last year.
So, but like you said, man, you evolved to a place where it's not life, it is entertainment. Even people down, whenever they're 16, 17, yeah, it's entertainment. They don't even know yet, right? But you truly have got to a place where you can extract the positive from all that sea of negative messages. Yeah. You got to the point where you can pull that out and then you can champion this one phrase and feel good about this chorus or whatever. Man, what it's going to take, man. Imagine if people sat back and said, okay, I see the trajectory he's going. Let's see what's going to happen. But everybody sat back to watch. Everyone sat back to watch. Well, that means that not enough people are actually joining that individual on his path. Now, rightfully so, yeah. We definitely need to have, actionable items. Like, we need to be working on concrete change, not putting a Band-Aid over a gaping, gushing wound. Like, a charity is that. In some ways, scholarship here, scholarship there, just to say you did something good. Turkeys on Thanksgiving. Shoot, K104 had twerking for turkeys. How disrespectful is that to have our black women come out there and shake their butt to get some food for Thanksgiving?
They showed up, though.
Right? Yeah,
they showed up.
That's disrespectful. You should not put that out there regardless. Yes, everyone is wrong. Everyone is wrong.
But my thing is this, man. Listen, that's hella ratchet. But you got to, at some point in the game, The onus got to be on the people that show up too. Like, there's no reason why a local radio station, should be able to do a twerking for turkeys and run ads on it, and it's okay. Like, people should have showed up to protest that and call shame to it, but we don't.
See, because too many of us are sitting back and watching. Okay, let's see how this person who's out for good, let's see how far he goes. Not enough people are joining in their cause, and not enough people are doing the ground foundational work to move this thing forward. We only want to say, hey, man, hey, I'm doing network marketing. That's a way to boost your thing. Hey, I'm doing this life insurance. That's a way to boost your thing. Hey, I'm doing this. No. They're not focusing on, everybody has something within their heart specifically. And until we get to reach them and touch them, Rick Ross would not have been able to be as successful doing Christian rap, but he would have been able to be as successful pursuing his God-given life path without negative rap. That's my belief, and that's what we have to give to everybody so that they can follow after their God-given life path.
You think Rick Ross will be who he is without the negative rap?
He will be as big as he is, just as you are as big as you are without killing somebody and selling drugs.
Can I say something real quick, man? And I've said this before. If I just coon just a little bit,
hey, you going all the way up, baby.
Like, bro, when I tell you, there have been opportunities placed in front of me. All I got to do is just sell y'all out just a little bit. Not even a lot. Come on. Know what I'm saying? Like, just a little bit. And I could easily add another zero to my network. But for me, it's like, I'll just take the slow way. You know how much money I could have right now?
I can imagine.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about, man, I have to talk to you off camera, man. Like, some of the opportunities that have been put in front of me because of my ability to articulate myself, because of my ability to draw attention to certain causes, and, I'm a likable dude, you know what I'm saying? So when people get around me, I just got that vibe. I'm that guy. I'm him, right? But I'm saying that to say, when people like you and you can benefit them, they'll dangle stuff in front of you that you never in a million years, like, no one has ever offered you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you don't know your worth, I was thinking about the Master P story, where he said they offered him, $1 million or something like that. And he was like, nah, man, I know I'm worth $100 million or whatever. And then they laughed at him and told him he'd never be able to, be successful in Hollywood. And then the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? When you know your worth, when you know what you're worth, like, you can wait, you can delay your gratification. Because I personally wouldn't be able to live with myself or be at peace with myself knowing that I took certain things just so I could promote myself. But some people don't think like that. To some people, it's all about the money. And whenever you hear people talking about the money all the time, like, those people I stay away from. Or like the scammers, internet scammers. I can always spot an internet scammer just watching one or two videos, because if they're always talking about, what you can have, when they promote the materialistic things and show you a fancy life, I already know they scamming. Because anybody can go out there and get that stuff on credit, and then when they, or if they've been to prison, and they brag about it and use that as their foundation of telling their story. Like, I'm not saying a person that has been to prison should not be able to be successful. I'm saying that if everything you talk about deals with you going to prison and that's your foundation, that's your validation. If your validation comes through being a convicted felon or someone who's done time, I'm not going to do business with you. I'm just not, man, because the statistics have clearly shown that you're going to be on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And all these people that's getting exposed right now, are all those guys and girls. You know what I'm saying? So I know people that's convicted felons that did Fed time, state time, that are loaded financially and that are doing some amazing things online. And you never hear them mention, or maybe you might hear them say, I got in trouble, but that didn't define me and that's it. They build their foundation on what's going on right now. But them cats that be, yeah, man, when I was in the feds, don't want to invest in that business, man. No,
literally. Literally.
Not this time, Monte.
You took me to a press release and I networked with some individuals, got in that network, and I discovered personal experience what you just said. Yeah, man, I stay far away from it, man. Like, I have a past. Most of all of my friends been to jail, prison, been locked up. I created a nonprofit to help people with criminal backgrounds gain access to jobs. So I'm all about uplifting my community, but I see that whenever you're, putting on that front, I can spot that. And let me say, man, just as I was saying, with people sitting back, watching that individual who's trying to be good, man, bro, again, so the point is that we need to assist that individual. Aid and abet that individual, right? Like what you just said was so golden, man, because what if now someone starts to believe in their talents? They start to believe in their ability. Like you said, know your worth. I was going to say, what does it profit a man if he shall gain the world and lose his soul?
Louie taking us to church on this interview.
Come on. Or what shall a man give, right, in exchange for his soul, right? So now,
wow,
if we're breathing into these individuals and we're building them up, we are now operating as a true community. We're helping one individual. That individual is employing his community. Now the neighborhood is becoming economically empowered. And it doesn't have to be with these high-end ticket things. It's just true to life stuff. Do you know how to build a chair? Do you know how to build like a smartphone, like a 3D printer? Like everything that you can see with your eyes, you have the ability to create. And the life is so abundant. However, we've only been channeled, and I don't even want to go down this route, into the sports, into the entertainment. And so our thoughts about our potential are so limited, but we have to do the job, man, of building up our community members.
That's what's up. Well, listen, man, we're going to wrap it up on this note, man. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
All right. Melanin Origins at all social media, okay? Definitely Facebook, definitely Instagram. And I am the meditative coach and empowerment coach that combines mindset philosophy with fundamental business strategies, helping my clients identify and attain results in their passion and their purpose, reaching their economic and interpersonal goals. Mindset philosophy, fundamental business strategies, removing internal blocks so that nothing is in your way so that you can move forward to get that job promotion, create that business, reach any goal that you have in mind. But it's the Meditative Coach on Instagram. And then also for Black History Children's Books, we have Melanin Origins, Instagram, Facebook. For sure. Well, listen, man, it's your man, Tim Jackson. I want to thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check out the documentary Tim Jackson Presents, How to Kill a Black Man, on Amazon Prime right now. All the links are below in the bio. Be sure to give Louie a follow. Check him out. Check out his companies. See what he has to offer, and definitely see him. He's in the documentary. That's all we got for you today. This is the No More OGs podcast. I'll see you soon.